Happy Friday! I'm Katie Spadoro with Cyber, and it is Friday, February 28th, 2020. I am here with your weekly small business news update. The 2020 presidential primaries are underway, so now is the time for employers to review their voting leave policy and ensure that supervisors understand the applicable law. In addition to avoiding legal liability, compliance with voting-related laws helps employers maintain workplace harmony during a potentially contentious period. Red versus blue. Yikes. We know you just want a peaceful and productive work environment, not a political debate going on daily. So currently, 30 states require that private employers provide time to employees to vote. However, all of these statutes vary by state. Some states offer paid leave while others do not. Also, the notice requirements. Minimum amount of leave and employer control over when employees take leave varies from state to state. One example in New York State, where the requirements for employers are to provide employees with 3 hours of paid leave, which must occur at the beginning or at the end of the assigned work hours. Additionally, New York State employees only need to provide 2 days of notice of their intent to take this voting leave. Another thing to remember is that, like other types of protected leave, retaliation is always prohibited. That means that employers cannot retaliate against their employees for taking time off to go vote in accordance with applicable law. There are even some states that have other laws related to election season. For example, in Florida, it is a third-degree felony for any employer to terminate or threaten to terminate an employee for voting or not voting in any election, or for voting for a specific candidate, which kind of is common sense, but... So what does that mean for you? Basically, look up your voting laws for your specific state and make sure that you stay compliant on your state's primary day. If you have any trouble finding out the applicable laws for your state, contact us at Cyber and we will help you figure that out and make sure that you are being compliant. On Monday, Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of sexual acts and rape in the third degree. Weinstein's criminal trial is the culmination of multiple accusations of wrongdoing at his company. In 2017, reports described a workplace culture full of sexual harassment and predatory behavior. These accusations against Weinstein's company really propelled the Me Too movement forward. This movement led to many employers closely examining their own workplaces. By the end of 2018, more than 200 men in positions of power around the US had been fired. So, what impact, if any, does the Weinstein trial verdict mean for workplaces today? One result of the trial is that the conversation of workplace inequality was extended. Also, more conversations about pay equity in the workplace have begun because sexual harassment and pay equity are connected. Lastly, employers are faced with the need to be more transparent in their handling of any complaints. All of these current events reflect current societal trends, more aggressive intervention by regulatory and law enforcement authorities, new pressure for accountability about sexual harassment, and more employers taking a zero-tolerance stance towards sexual harassment by top executives and everyone. Experts agree that there is no going back from this societal shift. As a small business owner, make sure that you are prepared with a harassment policy and a standard complaint policy that includes multiple channels for reporting complaints. Of course, handle any complaints you receive the Cyber way. If you have any questions on how to implement an outsourced unbiased source, call us. We will set up the hotline for you for free, and you'll have us in place within 5 minutes. Speaking of pay equity, the U.S. women's national soccer team could be owed more than $66 million in back pay and damages from the U.S. Soccer Federation, according to court documents filed on February 20th in LA. The team requested that the judge grant them summary judgment on their wage discrimination claims. Claims of this alleged pay discrimination were filed in March of last year under both the Equal Pay Act, the EPA, and the Fair Labor Standards Act, the FLSA. We will keep you posted as the status of this lawsuit continues. As we've been saying at Cyber, pay equity is huge right now, huge. Public outcry has prompted many employers to conduct pay audits regularly or salary analysis to address the pay gap. However, women still earn about 80 cents for every dollar that men earn. The gap remains even when adjusted for occupation and education. Even more upsetting is the gender pay gap is even wider for women of color. They fare much worse. These are things that must be addressed for so many reasons. Research has shown that some of the benefits of addressing the pay gap are avoiding discrimination claims, better economic performance, high innovation, and performance levels. Next, according to a February 18th report from Alexander Mann, Generation Z views diversity and inclusion more broadly and includes things such as lifestyle, culture, and political thinking. This definition of diversity by the newest generation of workers goes much further than our current definition and incorporates other facets of a person's makeup, their experience, their knowledge, and their opinions. This is known as cognitive diversity, a mix of different perspectives, ways of thinking, and information processing styles. This is great information to know as you move forward, potentially hiring some of these Gen Z employees in the near future. Also, as a small business owner, you should remember that diversity of any type is beneficial and it should be embraced. Diversity enables employers to attract and retain top talent, solve problems faster, and serves as a powerful branding tool. Also, it is well documented that diversity boosts innovation and will ultimately lead to a more productive workforce. Our challenge to you is to build a workplace where employees have that chance to routinely meet new people and freely share their ideas. Lastly, it's a leap year. Those of you who may not know what that means there is a 29th of February. That can be a pain in the butt for HR and payroll professionals, resulting in an extra payday in the calendar year, depending on when and how the employees are paid. Whether there will be an extra pay period and paycheck date depends on how the employer has directed the payroll to be processed, as in twice a month or every other week. In any year with 365 days, there will be 6 days of the week that occur 52 times, and one of the days of the week that occurs 53 times. In a leap year with 366 days, there will be 5 days of the week that occur 52 times, and 2 days of the week that occur 53 times. That's a lot of work. So, what do you do to adjust for this extra day? For those years with an extra day, when an employer finds themselves with 53 or 27 paydays, there are 2 general options. The first is to do nothing and pay the same amount for each payday, recognizing the extra paycheck in the year. This typically results in a higher payroll cost. The second option is to divide annual salaries by 53 or 27 paydays. This will result in a smaller employee check each payday, countered by an extra paycheck at that year's end. For example, if a salaried employee is paid $55,000 a year, an employer can recalculate the per paycheck amount so it ends up working out to be $55,000 over 27 paychecks every other week instead of 26. Employers electing this option should absolutely ensure compliance with the Federal Fair Labor Standards Act and any relevant state wage laws. Another solution some favor is to change from paycheck every 2 weeks to twice per month paycheck, although employers would need to adjust benefits and deductions accordingly. Whatever you decide, please do be aware, like I said, of any laws surrounding payroll and your company. That's all for this week. Check out cyber.co for some more information and send us a message if you have any questions on how we manage any of these issues at your business. You can also check us out on YouTube and like and subscribe so you can be sure to be aware and be the first alerted when there's any breaking HR news that would affect your business. Have a great weekend.